Hey guys, welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. It is a cold, blustery, rainy day in England. And we're heading up to a cold, blustery, rainy day in Scotland. This is the start of a 6-leg trip that's going to take us to North America. Leg 1 is Southampton, where we are now, up to Aberdeen. So we're going to head up there and do the flight. So let's jump in. We'll get ready to go. It's a miserable day out there. We'll get everything up and running. It's raining. Very windy out today. Get all the lights up so we can see what we're doing. Alright, we'll get ready for the passengers come on and they can start loading now. So we'll get the adheres up and aligning. We'll do our flow. Come down, turn on the crew oxygen supply. The tests. APU fire test. Engine 1. Engine 2. Bring on the fuel pumps. Batteries are good. Everything is good there. It's a little bit of air into the cockpit. We're all good. We're all good. We'll get the APU opened up so we can get it ready to go. Safety lights are on. Come down to the main board here. Turn that on now. I think we're pretty good. We're starting to board. Get the APU up and running. Put on the beacon light so they know we're starting up at least a small engine. Now while that is going, we are going to check got planned in. So for initialization, we have a company route put in. It's been preloaded, but our flight today is FLATL01. Cost index for the flight is 25. 3,300 flight level, 30,000 feet is set. We're all good there. Block fuel. Our gross weight is good. So for our flight plan, we are departing off of runway 20. Insert that in there. Everything is entered in. To runway 16. And our destination arrival will be the ILS runway 16. Check that. Alright. Should be good to go. Set the barometric pressure. Now we're going to climb out at 210. For our initial climb out. Initial heading will be 220 with a left turn out, or a right turn out once we get going. We're going to be climbing to 30,000. We'll just put that in straight away. Initial climb will be at 2,500 feet per second, or per minute. So I think that's got everything set up there. Pretty much ready to go. We don't have to do much entry into the flight planning because it's all done. We're waiting for the adheres. It'll be another 6 minutes. here. It doesn't seem to be raining right now, but it is a very, very gray day out here. So we're on the west side of the airport, so we're gonna, there's the taxiway, the runway's right behind us. So we're going to head over up this way and then be taking off outwards. But it is not a nice day here. A little bit of rain coming down. Short runway too, so it'll make it interesting. So the passengers are loading. Gotta wait. I think the APU is up and ready. The APU is up and ready. It's available. So we'll kick on the APU, disconnect from external power. And now we wait. All right, the IRSs are aligned. We'll go to plan mode. We can see our route there. We're in step through. See the route taking us all the way up there to Aberdeen. All right. So we're going to go over here to our performance page. It is going to be a flaps 1. So we will adjust our V speeds. V1 of 118, V rotate of 120, V123 for our climb out V2. Let's go to arc. So I think we're ready for pushback. Now I'm using a new little free program called Pushback Helper. Just makes it a little bit easier to do the pushback and see what you're doing. So I am going to go to this view so I can see behind, and I'm going to bring it up, release the parking brake, and we're going to start going back. And we're across the white line. I think it's to the right, yeah. You gotta remember, you gotta be doing this as if you're looking at it from behind. Tail is moving to the right. Straight back for a bit.
We're now going to explain the emergency procedures on this British Airways aircraft.
So it's a little bit easier than trying to do it the other way.
For your safety, it is important that you pay attention and follow instructions carefully.
There we go.
First, check your seatbelt is securely fastened.
And we'll come to a stop.
Insert the metal tag into the
brake on.
And tighten by pulling
And
on
we're
the
good.
loose end. To unfasten, simply lift
back
up the metal
inside.
flap on the buckle and pull apart.
Now start
You'll
the
find
engines.
the seatbelt sign in the panel above your head. When it's
So
on,
over to
you must fasten
igniter 1,
the
and we'll
seatbelt.
start engine number
We'll
1.
provide extension seatbelts for infants. We suggest you keep your seatbelt fastened and visible during our
everything
flight,
here
even
ready to
when
go.
the sign is off. Your life jacket is either beside or underneath your seat. To use it, take it out of the container and place it over your head. Pass the tapes around your waist and tie them securely in a double bow at your side.
The engines are spooling.
Inflate your life jacket when you leave the aircraft. We will supply life cots for babies and life jackets for children. In the unlikely event of the aircraft having to make an emergency landing, you'll be told to take this protective brace position. But when seated facing rearwards in Club World, you must adopt this position. We will now explain how to leave the aircraft in an emergency. Move quickly to the closest usable exit, taking nothing with you. High-heeled shoes must be taken off as they may tear the evacuation slide. Emergency lighting, including floor-level lighting, will help you find your way to the exits. These are clearly signed.
Alright. Alright, good start. Start engine number 2.
There are 2 exits at the rear of the aircraft and 2 at the front of each cabin section. Your crew will now point out the exits nearest to you.
So about 18%, it will automatically introduce the fuel.
In the direction of the red arrow.
The EGTs will start to rise.
Automatically inflates the evacuation slides.
There we go.
The slides can also be inflated by pulling this handle. Jump onto the slide and move away from the aircraft. If the aircraft has landed on water,
should stabilize just below 20%
to form rafts.
and below 500 degrees
As you leave
Celsius.
the aircraft, inflate your life jacket by pulling the red tag. If necessary, blow into this mouthpiece to top up the air. The life jacket is fitted with a light and a whistle.
She'll spike, and as the airflow increases, she'll come back
The
down.
panel just above your head. If the cabin air system should fail, this will be released. Stay in your seat and pull the mask towards you to
And
open
there we
your
go,
supply.
2 good starts.
Please note that the bag does not
So set the
inflate.
ignition back to
Place
normal.
it over your mouth and nose and adjust the
APU
band
bleed.
to secure it. Then
Can come
breathe
off,
normally.
APU is off.
Do make
Taxi
sure
lights
your
are
own mask
on.
is correctly fitted before helping anyone
Ready to
else.
taxi, but before
In
we do
some
that,
areas,
since it's a
you
short
release
run
the
over
mask
to
by
the
pulling on this colored streamer. If you're in a
taxiway and
Club One
runway,
sleeper seat, you
do a
may
flight
need to
control
reach
check.
through the dividing screen to retrieve your mask.
left and
All
right,
electronic devices, including
and
mobile
down,
phones, must be switched off, and all
and
headsets must be
rudder
removed
and
whenever
our
the
brakes.
engines are running on the ground.
Flight
during
controls are
takeoff,
good.
approach, and landing. Please ensure your mobile phone and
So
any
we can
devices
now
that can send or receive calls or text messages
taxi
remain
out.
off for the flight. Any items
I'm
with a
gonna put
flight
on
safe
the
mode should
speed
have
brakes.
this feature enabled now.
or
Some
arm them.
electronic devices can be used once we're airborne. Please check highlight
Go to the
magazine.
first notch of
Take care
flaps.
your hand baggage isn't blocking the aisles or exits. It must be put under the seat in front of you or in an overhead locker. But place items in the locker carefully, as they may fall and injure someone. As we prepare for takeoff, please make sure that your tray table is
So we
put
get
away,
ready?
your seat is upright, and your armrest is down. Please stow your individual video screen and footstool if you have them. Finally, take a look at the
Going
safety
around.
card in the seat pocket.
Here, we're just gonna
If you
stop
have any
right here to get
questions,
ready to
please
go,
ask your crew.
since
We
we're gonna
hope you have a
backtrack down the
relaxed and
taxiway.
enjoyable flight.
And get ready to take off. Just gonna stop right here. We're gonna make sure everything else is up. So that's on, that's fine. We're not using the weather radar because it's not working properly. Run TARA. Notch of flaps. Speed brakes are armed. Auto brakes are set. TO config. And we'll let the cabin know we're good to go.
Cabin crew seats for takeoff, please.
Right. Landing lights are all on. Strobes are on. We'll head out onto the runway. Be a short taxi up to the far end. We'll do the turnaround. We'll be pretty well good to go. Again, it's not a long runway. You wouldn't get anything really much larger than this in here. See how dark and gloomy it is for about 11 o'clock in the morning. A little bit of rain coming onto the windshield there. I would turn the wipers on, but well, they do move. They don't really do anything to the rain, so. It's not very handy. Alright, let's get her swung around. Go. They're lined up. So, flight director is on. Everything is set. Wheel page is up. It's 50%. Thrust is set. Knots. V1 rotate. I get this feeling these speeds aren't being set properly in the system. Gear up. The speed, autopilot, we're heading at 220. Come up on the flaps. We'll increase our speed to 250. Our right turn. There's the rain. That was a little bit better takeoff with the autopilot activation. Into the clouds. So let's go to .360 and then we'll turn on the autopilot for the next waypoint pickup, which is Wood, W-O-D. Keep it at 80 miles while we're down low. Alright, we'll go to heading mode. We'll let the aircraft take us around. Not too worried about the wheel. Forgot to start that, but that's fine. We'll get it going. Everything else is looking pretty good. It's a little bit bumpy. It's an interesting flight. This takes us right over the heart of England and then up to the west side, up near Birmingham and Manchester, and then we should be passing Edinburgh and then cutting back over towards Aberdeen. We'll see how it works out. I mean, I've got different programs telling me slightly different things. Well, we'll see how it is. There's 7,000 feet. We'll go to standard. Since we're just climbing straight up anyway. So the flaps are up and stowed, gears up and stowed, speed brakes are not armed, seatbelt sign is on, landing lights are on till 10,000. That's 9. And I hope we break out of the clouds at some point and we can actually see what we're doing. There's 10,000, so we'll decrease our climb rate to 2,000 feet. And at the moment, we'll take that off. We'll see how the turbulence is. Actually, we are still rocking pretty good. I'm going to leave it on. But there we go. We've left Southampton on leg 1 of our 6-leg trip over to New York. Now, let's see, if I turn the weather radar on, that's what we get. I mean, basically what it's telling me, you know, basically what it's saying is there's cloud all over here. This is what it should be mapping. Not all the cloud, but I'm sure they'll fix it at some point. Anyway, we're going to climb out, enjoy the flight, and yeah, a bit of turbulence there, eh? You can see the wing warping. Enjoy the flight. We'll pick up with you when we get closer to our descent. Well, we're about 80 miles out. We've been vectored around a little bit. The weather's been fairly turbulent, although we're above the clouds right now. So we're going to set up our descent. So we're going to be going down. I think we're going to hold at... we'll go down to 5,000 feet for the initial. And then we'll hold there. And that's going to be done at 2,000 feet per minute. With an airspeed of about 250 knots. Which should take us roughly 80 miles to get down to 0 feet, so a little bit less. I've got my Navigraph mapping up, which is giving me a slightly different route. I don't know why this has put me out over the water, but we'll follow it in. So we're basically just passed over Dunfermline, heading towards Kinross. And when we get up to Perth, we're going to make the turn over the historic town of Scone, where kings of old were crowned, and head up towards Aberdeen in the northeast. As you can see, it's horrendously cloudy. We just did an updated weather. I don't know what the game's gonna have. It still has weather out of the northwest, and at least the thunderstorms are gone, but it's still raining. But we'll see. We'll join up with you as we pass through 10,000 feet and we make our way in for the final approach. Okay, we're through 10,000 feet. Let's get the lights on. Strobes are on. Let them know in the back. So we're going to overfly the airport at 2,500 feet and do a left-hand turn to swing around and bring us into the approach for the runway. Not bad so far. Not a lot of turbulence. There's a little bit. We're about 15 miles away. I think I'm hearing rain. Positive temperatures, so the anti-icing can come off. Yep, definitely rain. So the wind in the games, even though it's set for live weather, and the wind that I'm getting on the current weather for Aberdeen Airport is very different. Well, the rain's fine and the clouds are fine, but the winds are not the same. There's 6,000 feet. We're gonna lower this to about 1,000 feet a minute. We've only got 3,500 feet to go. We're still 12 miles out. And this part of the country does have some hills in it, so I want to make sure I stay above them as we slowly descend. Not seeing any other aircraft, unlike my arrival into Heathrow, where we had a few. Eight miles. We're down to 210. 152 approach, 145 landing. Okay. Bring it down a little bit quicker. We're gonna pass just north of the airport. Can't see anything outside right now. Alright. Back to 1,000 feet to make it nice and easy for us. Head up here, we'll just loop around and then come in on the approach.
2,500.
Yeah, solid overcast. What did it say? Overcast at 2,900, broken to, at 700, so we're not going to see much. Not at all. So we'll turn the landing system on. It's picking up the ILS for the runway. Coming down to our radio. 109.90. 109.90. And on the chart, IAX is identifier. IAX is there. So we have the right signal. That is a good thing. Start heading north. It sees the glide slope and it sees the localizer, which is all good. All right. Let's carry this around to the west. Twelve and a half miles out now. Looks good. So we're going to be aiming for this point here. We'll go up a little bit and then we'll angle in this way and we'll do our intercept. 2360. Still nothing outside. So we'll turn to 230. And we'll start slowing her up a little bit more. Speed will come down to 180. As we pass through 200, we'll go to first notch of flaps. Pass through 190, we'll go to the second notch of flaps. $156. We're in approach phase. 150 is our target. All right, 165. 200 degrees and arm the approach. Once we level off and we cross 10 miles, put in the next set of flaps and the gear. There's 10 miles. Gear down. Flaps down. Gear down full. Flaps are down full. Alright, number 2 on that. Speed brake is armed. Glide slope is coming down. Hoping that captures it. Yeah, looks like we have. Speed can come back to 150. And we're all set.
Cabin crew seats for landing, please.
All right, so we're on the approach. Let's see how far down we got to go before we start seeing something. It is only coming up for about 10 after 12. Maybe 20 after 12. I was a bit late starting the clock. A little bit of wind there. Still very windy up here at this altitude. A little bit of rain, a little bit of turbulence. I got predictive wind shear on. I got the wind shear on. Okay, radar altimeter 1,100 feet above the ground. Oh, there we go. Rainy, miserable day in Scotland.
1,000.
Been there for quite a few of those. Alright. Fly the airplane, land the airplane. "900 feet, runway is in sight." Decision height is 400 feet. Yeah, the winds are howling. Good thing they're pretty much straight down the runway. Landing.
Retard. 5.
knots. 60 knots. Reversers are off. Brake is off. We are down. Welcome to Aberdeen on this rainy day. We're going to roll it to the end of the runway, then we'll come back. Just want to check on my gate here. Alright, so gate 4. 1A, 3, or 9. 1A, 3, or 9. Alright. So we'll get around here up onto the taxiway. Start getting the aircraft ready for our arrival. Oops. Get that going. Bring off those. Bring those on. Taxi strobes off. That's down. And flaps can come up. So this is the main apron, this is where we're headed. We'll just go into one of them. Doesn't matter right now which one it is. Get the APU up and running. bit. So that would be 1A, 1, 2, and there's 3. We're gonna go into 3. And of course, as we come in, there's a truck coming right on in. We'll ignore him, since he's ignoring us. And we are here. Parking brake is on. APU is coming up. Wheel temperatures are good. And we'll go to doors. AP is available. And we are here. Oop, wrong one. There we go. Welcome to Dice Airport, located outside the historic old Scottish town in northern Scotland of Aberdeen. You can see the area around the airport. And Aberdeen is off that way over the hills. A very miserable fall day here. But thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.